Welcome to Taking Tea in Style, TeaTalk, Real Talk, Conversations over tea, where we will be discussing topics and issues that matter. Now today I have a wonderful lady, entrepreneur, just a fabulous person, Tiffany Budgetnista. She is just doing some marvelous things in this universe to make us all better financially. So Tiffany, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Sharon.
So basically, I just want to kind of know about your journey and, you know, how did you find this passion in this whole financial piece of what you're teaching other people?
Well, I grew up in a really financially savvy home. My father was a CFO. He was also an accountant. And he also had 5 daughters.
Wow.
So he had to know how to manage his
oh,
money.
definitely.
And so I think he worried that, you know, he had all girls and he wanted to make sure we knew how to take care of ourselves.
Right.
So he taught us how to manage our money very early on.
Wow.
And so that's how it all started for me.
Wow, nice, nice. I'm sure that with 5 girls, that's, you know, girls like to spend money.
Yes.
So that must have been a challenge for him. I mean, was it an easy thing when he was sitting you guys down and letting you learn about money and how to spend it?
No, I mean, well, my father was good at this. He knew how to relate what was important to us to money. So I might say, Daddy, I want the icy man's here. Well, this morning, you know, he would say, you know, you had the water running for extra 20 minutes, that's $1.
Right. Ooh.
So you spent your $1 playing around in the bathroom this morning. And you're like, so to a
Wow.
5-year-old, all I heard was no icy.
Right.
And so I knew next time I'm turning off the water, I'm
Right.
cutting out the lights,
Right.
because I wanted to be able to get the things I wanted.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. Wow. So let us know, like, so from that point, like, you know, just lead us down the road of where you were before and now where you are today in terms of teaching others about, you know, what you're doing.
So I thought, you know, when you're a kid or a child, you think that what happens in your household happens in every household. So I assumed everyone was getting those money lessons. It really wasn't until I went to college and my college roommate was actually getting calls from bill collectors.
Oh, boy.
I didn't even know they did that.
Wow.
Because I would answer. And, you know, they'd harass, they would, like, trick you.
Oh,
they
they're a
would.
pain.
And so I called my father, like, Daddy, bill collectors call people. And he said, yes, when you don't pay this. So I realized, wow, everyone is not financially savvy.
Yes.
Everyone didn't grow up with that in their home. And so I began showing my friends in college. And then I was a teacher after college when I graduated, and I began showing my coworkers. I taught preschool, so the kids would have nap time, and their parents would come in, and then I would have like parent university, and the parents would.
Now this is where, like, right in the same room when they're waiting to wake up the children? Oh,
because
my
they would
God.
say, Miss Tiffany, I'm struggling, and I would say, you know, let me see your budget. You know what? Come back at nap time.
Oh, wow.
And so it just began like that. It just was something I would do because I was good at it.
Right.
And then my school closed in 2009. And I thought, you know, I don't want to go back to teaching traditionally in the classroom anymore. And I began volunteering, and I kept volunteering in this one capacity, teaching financial literacy.
Right.
And people started asking how much did I cost? And I thought, for what?
Right.
And my best friend at the time, she was like, you should make something up. And I'm like, are you allowed to do that?
Because you weren't thinking about a business,
No.
you know?
And so I asked my little sister, the baby of the family, what should I call myself? She said, the Budgetnista.
Now, where did she come up with that?
I
Just
don't know.
popped up in her head?
Because you know what? There was a fashionista.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so
right,
you know,
yes.
they're all young and cute, you know.
Of course, yeah.
And so she was like, well, you do budgets and stuff. And I said, okay. So I Googled it. Nobody had it.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah, then I trademarked it. And so here I am.
Nice, yeah, because I thought that's like Budgetnista. Wow, that's fabulous, you know, just in the name alone, it catches your eyes. So
Yeah.
that's nice, wow. So you said you weren't teaching before. Now, what subject were you teaching? Or
I was
it
teaching
just
preschool.
Okay.
Which is actually was perfect. And, you know, it just reminded me that there are no coincidences in
Right.
life. Because teaching preschool is teaching these little people who have no knowledge and bringing them to knowledge.
Right.
And so what that allowed me to do, 10 years of doing that, was to master how to bring people from no knowledge to
Right,
knowledge.
right.
And so the way I teach financial education is I teach you like a preschooler. That's why it's fun.
Right.
That's why it's easy.
Right.
But I didn't think that that's what it was leading me up to.
Right.
You know, but it was like training for what I'm doing now. And even when I wrote my book, The 1 Week Budget, one thing I get a lot from people is that it's so easy to read. It's so fun.
Right.
I'm like, because you're learning like a
It's
3-year-old.
probably not, right, it's not technical, which we
Yes.
need, especially when it comes to finances. Because
Exactly.
when we read these other books, it's like, what is all this terminology in here?
Exactly.
And then you get thrown off and you're like, you know what, let me put this book down because you're not really,
Exactly.
you know, it's just not easy to read.
It's just tough to get through, or you
Right.
feel like you have to have a finance degree.
Right.
I feel like the only thing you should need to know reading my book is how to read, write, add, and subtract.
Right.
That's it.
That's awesome. Awesome. Now I know that this was like one of the top bestsellers for
Still.
a long time, right?
Still.
So
It
what
was
is
number
it
2
now?
today.
Is it number 2 today? Wow, because I know it was number 1, right? Oh my God, I think that's so awesome. And then I also was reading that they did some kind of survey. I think it was some bank online that did a survey for the people's most favorite financial person, and you came in number 3 out
Yes.
of all these people. I think it was like a list of
David Ramsey.
Yeah, because I have David. Actually, my sister had given me the book, David Ramsey. She gave everybody in the family that book maybe 2-3 years ago, and I said, let me read it. And I did read it, and I was like, okay, but I started to do it, and then, it's hard to always stick to it. But, I'm definitely going to read this. I'm getting 2 copies today for my son and my daughter, which is 21 and 29, because that's the age where they're spending money, and they're not really thinking about their future. And I was so impressed that, when you said you were making $12 an hour, how much money you saved, I was like, wow.
$10,800
you know what I mean?
in 1 year.
Right.
And that was the beginning of the 1 week budget. That's the name of the book. And really I learned is that you don't have to have a lot to make a lot, or to have the Vanna White. Right?
Yes.
And so it just really taught me. I was 23 and 21 actually, and I just graduated college, and I wanted to buy a car. And at the time, the only job I could find was being like an assistant at a daycare center. And I think they were paying me $12 an hour. It was like $1,400 a month.
Wow.
Total.
Right.
That was my take home pay.
Right.
Which is,
Right, I know.
for a college graduate.
I know.
And so what I did was, my father, who, he allowed me to stay home. He's like, as long as you work, you don't have to pay rent.
Right.
And my mother cooked. So I was like, okay. And I added up my little bills. Okay. And it was like student loan, train fare, and it was $500 a month total. Okay. So I figured, okay, if I make 14 and I spend 5, that's $900 a month I can save. And so I did for a year. I had $10,800.
That is awesome.
And I told my father I want to buy a car.
Right.
He said, well, cars cost money.
Right.
I said, I have
and to
money.
maintain it too, right? Wow.
And so he was impressed when I showed him. At first he was like, where'd you get this money from? I had to show him my sister.
Right. That is awesome. Because at that age, didn't you find it hard? Didn't you want to go out and buy clothes and hang out and things like that? So
I put it in my budget.
Was that? Okay.
Honestly, I gave myself, I think it was like $25 or $30 a week just to go to a movie or something, because the reason is my parents were really strict. And so even though I wanted to go out, my desire to get my own car and my own place outweighed me wanting to because my friends would want to go out, and I'd think to myself, I could go out or I could stay here forever.
Right, I know, I know. And those are hard decisions at that age, because everybody wants to hang out. But then you have to have an objective and say, okay, this is really what I want and need.
Exactly.
Like you were saying, tell us about the bracelet. You said needs first, love, and then likes. So you needed to get.
Exactly. So these are your spending priorities. This is just a reminder bracelet.
Okay.
It just says needs over loves over likes over wants.
Wow.
So your needs come first.
Right.
Food, shelter, clothing, water. And then you should pick 2 loves. At the time, it was an apartment and a car.
Okay.
And so what that meant was everything else was only a like or a want.
Right.
So going out was a like or a want. So if it was going to cost me $50 to go out with my friends, I could go, but that meant that's $50 less toward my apartment or car.
Exactly.
Was I willing to say that?
Wow.
And so I was not.
Right.
And so even now, my 2 loves are my business, the Budgetnista, and travel.
Right.
So if my girlfriends are like, Tiffany, you want to come here? It's only going to be $100 or whatever. I'm like, $100 to go out with you, or $100 less for my ticket to Paris.
Right.
I choose Paris.
There you go. You know what? And when you put it in that perspective, it just makes you just say, okay, no, I got to focus on this. And to start at young ages, I think it's perfect, because if you teach a child, even at 5, because I do my workshops on etiquette, you have to teach them at a young age to learn about money, to appreciate money, and then to, like you said, know what your needs are first, then all these other things.
Exactly.
And I think it then balances out, and then people don't have any regrets, like, oh, I wish I didn't go out last week.
Exactly.
So like we were saying before the show started, I said my daughter, who's in culinary, she loves food and she loves to cook, and she's a great cook. So she had made some dinner, I think it was Saturday night. So we were going to go out for Easter Sunday and, get our nails done and everything. And then I said, okay, so we'll come back home and we'll eat your food and we'll watch a movie. She goes, no, Mom, I want to go out to eat for Easter Sunday. I'm like, oh, come on, we have your food here. And I'm telling her about you. I'm like, no, but you know what, the Budgetnista, she would say that you need to, save your money. You already have food here and it's good food. Why go out? So I would, love for her to just really read this book so she can understand are some of the things that you want. And she does want a car, and she needs a car. Right now, mommy's taking her to work every morning. Not that it's far, but so she wants to get that car. So I have to try to let her know the importance. And I'm glad that you gave this to me.
I'll give you another one to give to her. That was for her too.
Thank you. And I'm going to tell her. These are important. Just hearing how you said it, it just makes such an impact.
Because it's not about having less of a life.
Right.
Because your likes and your wants are those things that don't mean that much to you.
Right.
Your needs are what you have to have.
Exactly.
And your loves are what really makes life worth living.
Right.
So that's what I try to tell people, like, wouldn't you much rather have, so if your daughter's a foodie, let's just say it's like, clothes shopping and she already has plenty of clothes.
Right.
It would be better for her to spend less money on clothes and put it toward eating at restaurants.
Right.
Because that's what she really loves to do.
Right.
So you want to have more of a life, you know?
Yeah, enjoying exactly what it is that you want and love to do.
Exactly.
Oh, you put it so well.
Thank you.
So, that is just so awesome. So, tell me about some of the things. I know you were doing financial literacy this month, and you're going around all over the place to just educate people. And I was reading that 86% of what you do and offer is free. Tell us about that. That's exciting.
So I've been really, really blessed in that I realized that to me, financial education is like food, shelter, clothing, water. It's no longer an option.
Right.
You must have financial education.
Yes.
And so it's Financial Literacy Month, National Financial Literacy Month, April. And I thought, this is the time. I've been turning up, like the kids say. So I was just in Mississippi,
Nice.
Jersey, New York, like all over
Right.
teaching financial education. And the way I offer it for free is that I have really great sponsors. So I work with organizations like the United Way, Boys and Girls Club, Dress for Success, Prudential. So they'll pay me so I can go into the community and offer these classes for free.
Awesome.
And so that's how I try to structure my business. So the person sitting in the seat, it feels like a nonprofit.
Right.
But it's a for-profit company,
Right.
the Budgetnista, because I get payment from these large organizations.
Right, that's awesome. Very awesome. Because I know, for what I do, doing the social etiquette and dining skills, I always say, I want to do that for people in the urban community. But then when I reach out to them, it's like, oh, well, we're nonprofits, and it's, we really can't afford it. And I'm like, this is really the people I want to do it for because they don't have the money to do it. But it's hard. So I'm glad, but financial literacy, like you said, if people know how to do that from a young age, life will be so much easier. There'll be no bill collectors calling you because now they've learned the lessons of
need it, love it, like it, want it.
There you go. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about your trip to India.
Oh
my God. How long did it take you to save, and what were the steps, in terms of doing that to get
So my needs, everybody knows food, shelter, clothing, water. And my two loves are my business, the Budgetnista, and travel.
Yes.
So I have dedicated a percentage of my income to travel. So 20% of my income I set aside for retirement.
Okay, nice.
Because I'm self-employed, so 10%
exactly.
won't do.
Right.
And then I set aside a percentage for taxes because Uncle Sam is going to want his.
I know, that's so true.
But I also set aside 10% also I give. I find a nonprofit in the city I live in, Newark, and I pick a new one every year.
Yes, nice.
And I give 10% of my income.
Okay, wow.
And then I give 10% to myself for travel.
Right.
So it used to be 5%.
Right.
But I'm like, Tiffany, you know what? You're responsible. You put away your money for
That's
retirement.
right.
You give back to the community. You could give yourself a little bit more.
Because, they do say pay yourself first.
Yes.
But, I guess you have to look at that depending on,
No, well, pay
rules.
yourself first really means retirement money.
Okay,
So you
that's
should
true.
always do
That's
that first,
true. That's true.
even before anybody else.
Right.
Even I always feel Uncle Sam could even wait.
Right.
I can't because when I'm 80,
Right.
Uncle Sam's not gonna care about me.
Right.
I have to
That's
care
for
about
sure.
me,
That's for sure.
And so India happened because I was setting aside money every month when I get paid from different organizations, and then I look into I have an online only bank account. And I believe that everyone should have some savings in an online only account.
Yes.
Because you can't go into the bank, withdraw any money.
Yes.
You have to wait 2 to 5 business days to have that money transferred back into your
Exactly.
account. So no impulse spending.
Right. I know.
Because people don't realize I'm not as disciplined as you think.
Right.
It's
hard.
Yeah, but if it's away and I'm like, ooh, cute dress. 2 days, Tiffany. Are you gonna wait 2 days to get your $30?
Right. Exactly. It's true. All that impulsive buying.
Exactly.
That's what gets us all in trouble.
Exactly.
But I'll say for me, the debit card, I think, was the worst invention.
Yes. That's
For the human race.
You will swipe away all of your dreams.
And even because I used to budget, and then, when I had gotten married, my husband was like, what's with this budgeting? I said, it helps me. It makes me focus, and I can save, and I can pay all my bills, and just have fun. But when the debit card came, I wasn't even, not that I didn't have a budget, I had a budget, but it was just so easy to just swipe because I used to just make sure I had my cash for whatever I needed until I got paid again. But when that debit thing came, I wasn't recording anything in my book, and the next thing you know, oh my God, I swiped too much.
That's the purpose of it,
and it's
to
just,
make you
it's
overspend. And so once I opened up those accounts and I saw I had travel money, then that's just, I look and I say, I saw India was like going to cost me, a round trip flight was like $970.
Right.
And then the trip itself, like I found this really great travel group online called No Madness, and it was $300 for the accommodations and food. And I had the time, I had the time, when I say the time of my life, I rode elephants, camels, fed monkeys.
I saw the pictures online, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was like, you know, that's one of the places that I want to go. It's on my vision board, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to get there. She's there.
It was on my vision board too.
Yeah, and that's what I was like, it's exciting. So I was like, okay, she's my inspiration. I have to really start doing some of what she's doing so that I can get there too.
Because people don't really get it. Like they think I'm really cheap, but no, that India trip cost maybe like $1,700.
Right.
So that costs money,
right?
You know, but because I don't have cable, you know, I don't really buy too many clothes. Like twice a year, I do like bulk shopping when things are on sale,
right?
You know, my car is a '99 Toyota Camry,
right?
You know,
you have to know your priorities for what you want,
exactly.
And travel,
and travel is so important to me that those other things can.
It don't matter,
exactly.
You know, some people they want the nicest cars, but then they're stuck with this, you know, monthly bill and all the maintenance that goes with it, and then they're not thinking about like other things that they really truly like. Car, yes, is a necessity, but you don't need to always have like the biggest, the best.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what people need to learn.
Exactly. And to me, it's crazy, but a car is like one of the biggest. A new car is one of the biggest wastes of money, because you think about it this way: I could buy this dress. I think I got it from like JCPenney. If I don't like it in 7 days, or even sometimes up to 30, I can actually bring it back for the same amount of money that I bought it for. You cannot do that with a car. No. You buy a $20,000 car, you're not getting $20,000 back.
Not at all.
You can do that with a dress. You can't do that with a car.
Right.
That tells you something. That it's just not a wise decision unless you have enough money to buy a new car full. To buy a new car, because you're going to lose money as soon as you drive it away.
It's so true. And like you said, to pay in full. Like I had a girlfriend I worked in IT. She just went straight out and bought her Camry full cash, which I think makes more sense because by the time with the interest and you pay it off, whether it's 4 years or 5 years, that money you could have invested in something else and making more money.
Exactly.
You know, but again, people need to learn about.
I go over all that in the 1 week budget. #1 Amazon bestseller.
Yes, I think that's incredible. I mean, I've just been so impressed by you and what you're doing, and the fact that, again, you can go out into the community and they don't have to pay. That's incredible.
Because to me, I want to give back, you know, to people who need it most.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I knew there had to be a way to do that.
Yeah. Now, was it a task on getting the sponsors? Like, you know, how easy was it to get the sponsors, especially because you're not a nonprofit organization?
So it was, I mean, honestly, social media is like amazing. So I think I tweeted, like, oh, I really want to do financial workshops in the community. And someone tweeted me back and said, you should go to the United Way.
Okay.
So I sent like an email and I had a meeting. And they were like, well, do one for our staff first. Let's see how you are. And I did one and they loved it. They said the staff wants you to come back.
Wow, that's
so I
awesome.
did one and they loved it. And then they were like, you know what? Can you write, because I have my master's in leadership and education.
Right, okay, nice.
So they're like, can you write us a curriculum? I said, sure. So I wrote a 6-week curriculum.
Wow.
And that's what I teach. I mean, it's been 3 years with them.
Okay,
and so I teach a 6-week curriculum about 4 to 6 times a year.
Wow.
And
all of their employees?
No, to the community.
Oh, okay.
And so I use social media to tell the community the registration is open in 3 days. We always sell out. I mean, it's free, you know?
Yeah, of
course. They get the book. Everyone gets the book for free.
Nice.
The United Way pays for everything. And then I come, and then we have a really good time. Yeah. Because honestly, you know, Prudential did this study called the African American Experience, and they found that we do not get approached by financial experts.
Right.
We're not approached by the financial community, no matter how much you make.
Right.
So you can make $10 or $10 million, and the financial community does not really reach out to us.
Wow.
And I thought, well, something has to change.
Right.
We're not going to get better.
Right.
That happened. So that's what the Budgetnista is all about.
Right.
Bringing that back into the community.
Right. And I think, you know, something like this should be incorporated into our education. You know, because a lot of time parents weren't taught, so they're not going to teach you. And I'm sure, now, do you do this like for families together?
So,
you know,
well, it's usually like about, I want to say 17 and up. So people bring their kids. I'm like, bring your kids, you know. But I do, like I go into schools, middle schools, preschools, because I taught preschool.
Yes.
So I can teach at every level.
Right, that's awesome.
I actually have this financial literacy game called Real Life, a Game of Choices that high schoolers play. So the room becomes a board and the kids become the pieces.
Oh, really?
And they become adults. They take on like an adult identity and they have to make financial choices around the room.
That is awesome.
Almost like the game of life, but in real life.
Right. Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're like not bored. They're like,
No,
excited about
exactly.
it.
And
So
they're like, wow, this is really crazy.
you're like,
My
so
mom
tell
hasn't-
it, give me like some more details about it because I'm interested. I got to go to something like that. That sounds
So
like
the way
so
it
much
works
fun.
is that like I have stations around the room where they're manned by the entrepreneurs. So
Right.
the kids are either an entrepreneur or a family member.
Okay.
So there's housing, charity, transportation.
Right.
And their job is to try to get you to buy more than you can afford.
Right. Oh,
And then the
okay.
kids, they get a folder and it says, in your family, there's 2 parents. One is like a nurse, the other's a mechanic. You have 4 kids. These are their needs, and this is what you make a month.
Right. Okay.
And then I give them,
Wow.
they have to make a budget, and then I give them money. And they actually have to spend money around the
Wow.
room. They have to buy a house. They have to get a car. You see them run out of money, go
Oh
back
my-
to the bank to borrow money.
Oh, no.
And they're like, and then at the end, you hear a great conversation like, my mom doesn't even make this much.
Wow.
And she's got more kids than I had in my family, my
Right,
big family.
right.
How does
Wow.
she make it work?
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they go home with a new
It is.
appreciation.
It
yeah?
is. Again, if people don't know, you have to learn and
Exactly.
appreciate. You know, because money, they think, especially when you're young, they think it grows on a tree. Like, Mom, can I have this? Can I have that? And we'll look at you. You know, every parent says that because my mom said to me, money doesn't grow on trees, Sharon. My daughter, money doesn't grow. So if you learn to appreciate it, you'll take better care of it. You know,
Exactly.
and not let it go because we all know money comes in easily, but it goes out quickly.
Yep.
And bills are like always like, hello.
You have to tell your kids where money comes from. I knew
Yeah.
there was one little girl, she kept telling her mom would say, we don't have any money. Go to the wall. Go to the wall, get money. We didn't know what she was talking
Right.
about. Until one time we went to the ATM. She said, I told you, the wall.
Oh my gosh.
So she
Wow.
Because she was like 5 or 6.
Right,
So
right.
she assumed that
Right.
this magical wall
Wow.
gave you money when you needed it.
Wow.
If your kid can say, if your child can say, Mommy, Daddy, can you buy me?
Right.
And they understand that there's an exchange for money and
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So that means it's time to tell them where that money comes
Right.
from.
Right.
So not can I have, because that means they're not really sure, but can you
Right.
buy me means they understand you're exchanging money.
Right.
It's time to have the money talk with
Wow.
them.
Yeah, yeah. And I think if we, you know, just like chores, you know, when you're growing up, I think it's important to have chores. So it's the same thing. So if you get your little, you know, pocket money every week, you have to insist on your children saving a certain amount of
Exactly.
it. Just like, and I always tell my daughter, I said, when you get your paycheck, you know, at least half. Save half, and then the rest of it is for, you know, all your bills and for, you know, spending. But, you know, again, at that age, they don't always listen. And I really wish that I had really instilled that more into my kids, you know, that so they can be much better by the time they get, you know, to a certain age. But I think, you know, what you're doing is just so phenomenal. And you're going all over the country, which is great for you, too, because you love to travel.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So that's great. So your next trip, you said, is where? Where do you want to go next?
So definitely from my birthday's in October,
Okay.
and so I'm gonna go to Greece and Turkey. Definitely, there probably is gonna be some
Nice.
smaller trips in between, like California and
Right.
stuff. But my next major trip is definitely Greece and Turkey. So I've been setting aside my 10%, watching the money grow,
Right.
Because I want to go see Santorini Island
Oh,
really
wow.
badly, and I want to
Nice.
go to Istanbul.
Right, okay. Wow.
It's been on my vision board for the longest.
Wow, that's nice. That's very nice. I'm really excited.
Thank
I'm really
you.
excited. So, any other upcoming events that you're going to be having, you know, this year at all?
Definitely. So I have this challenge called the Live Richer Challenge. It's going to be for women. It's going to be 36 days. It's going to be absolutely free. You sign up online, and every day I give you a small financial task. And at the end of the 36 days, you'll have a budget, a debt plan, your credit will be up. You'll learn more about insurance and investing, but in a way that you won't even realize it, because
Right.
each day the challenge will be
Right.
really, really small.
Right, okay.
And you'll look up and say, wait a
Wow.
minute, she tricked me into making a budget.
So it's actually 36, just
Yes,
regular days?
36
just-
days.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so it's called the Live Richer Challenge. And so I'm going to be starting to sign people up in the
Okay.
next few weeks. And then, because I really, like I said, it's going to be free. I'm going to get
Right.
sponsors on board.
Okay,
You know,
nice.
because I want to shift, my goal is to
Right.
shift 5,000 to 10,000 women this year through the challenge. To get people signed up, and then next year another 10, and then
Wow.
10 after that.
Right.
So that way, in 10 years, 100,000 women.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's
Shifted
awesome.
forward
I'm
financially.
signing up right now. Like, you know, do you have a website already set up for that, or you're in the
No, it's
process
coming,
of doing
but
that?
if you
Okay.
have like the budgetnista.com, so
Okay.
Budgetnista.
Yes.
So it'll, and I have
I'll
my
be the
intern on
first
board.
one. I'm signing up.
Yeah, because I just want, because can you imagine, I just think to myself, like, if we could shift all these women forward financially in the
Right.
next 10 years, it'll change the
The
landscape
economy,
of our country.
right? The economy will
Exactly.
be so booming,
Right?
So booming.
From even 100,000 women, if you just save $200 a piece, or $100 a piece, or even $10
Right.
a piece, of what that would do for savings
Right.
or investing.
Of course.
Or spending. Yeah. So, and we all know it's really through women make the most financial decisions in the
Yes.
household. Even if they don't make all the money.
Right.
Because think about it this way: if a man loves a car but his wife hates it, you're not getting that car.
Right, that's true.
Now, if she loves it and he hates it, you
Right.
might still get it.
Right, exactly. No, you're right.
You know,
That's
because we
true.
make those financial choices.
Right.
So I'm like, since we're making a lot of the choices,
Yes.
then let's educate these women.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited. That's great. And then I see that you're going to be in New York for blogging.
Yes,
I saw-
blogging
yeah,
while
so
brown.
Tell me about that.
So in June, I'm terrible with dates. It's in June.
Right. I just saw that the other night, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
So I'll be sitting on a panel. So I have a group of women. I believe in collaborating with amazing women. That's why I'm
Of
here.
course. Thank you so much.
And there's 4 other women. We call ourselves the Frugal Fab Five.
Okay.
And they all have their individual brands. And together we make the Frugal Fab
Okay.
Five. And we have traveled from California, not California, North Carolina. We'll be going to D.C. We'll be going to California.
Right.
And teaching women. We're all brown women.
Right.
Teaching women.
Beautiful brown women.
Yes,
at that.
teaching women how to manage their money. And
Right.
so we collectively will be on a panel teaching other bloggers and
Right.
women how to collaborate.
Right.
For
That's
the
awesome. Yeah, I
blogging
was
while
looking at
brown.
that. I said I have to check my schedule and make sure because I would love to attend.
Yes,
that as well.
you should go.
You just have so many wonderful things that's happening, and it's making me excited because
Thank you.
I want to be like you, where I'm just traveling to the places because I really, I've been saying I want to travel for so long, but because my business just, it's just so much going on in the business. But I know I have to. We were just talking earlier with someone else about balance, but it's hard to balance when you're doing what we do as entrepreneurs, and
It
people
is.
don't realize that what really the work that we put into it.
Exactly.
But yes, we love it, but still, there's other things that I love and want to
Exactly.
do, and so I really want to get my budget right because I don't always follow it. But I find though, as an entrepreneur, I'm actually spending less than I did when I was making all this money working for IBM. Because now when you have less money, you're a little bit more
Yeah.
careful with it
Yep.
and stretching it and doing what you need to do.
Exactly.
But I think if we budget more, you can have more.
You
right?
change your budget, you change your life.
Yes, yes. That's so awesome. So, well, I'm really so excited about it. So just tell us where we can find this book
So
and the price. And
the
so
book
everybody can get
is it's normally $14.99, but Amazon always has it on sale. So you can get it right from Amazon.com.
Okay.
And you can get the Kindle version.
Okay.
As well as the physical version.
Right.
And so the book has like spreadsheets and stuff in it. So
Oh,
if you get the
great.
Kindle version, you can actually go to my website, thebudgetnista.com, and actually get the templates and print them
Right.
out.
Oh, okay.
Because you're going to need them in order to do
Right.
the book. And I
Right.
don't want just because you got the Kindle version,
Right.
you can't fully work through the book.
Right. But you said the book has those same things in
Well,
it
so
as
this
well?
workbook, it
Okay.
has like actual blank.
Oh, okay, great.
It's a workbook, no
Right.
excuses.
Nice.
And so, like I said, those people who get the Kindle version, you can't write in your Kindle.
Right, yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
okay. I
you
got
can
you
print it out.
covered. Go right to thebudgetnista.com and print out the template.
That's good. Well, I am so excited that you came on the show. I mean, you were just phenomenal.
Thank you.
So thank you, sister, for coming on to the show. And we just want to thank her for coming, and we will see you next time. Enjoy.